Over 60 and constipated, this canned food helps you poop naturally fast. What if I told you that the reason you're constipated has nothing to do with how much water you drink? You could be hitting 8 glasses a day and still be completely backed up. Because here's what almost nobody tells adults over 60, your gut has changed and it needs something specific to keep moving. Not a pill, not a powder, just a few simple canned foods sitting right on your grocery shelf. Today, I'm walking you through the 3 best canned foods that naturally soften stool and get things moving again. Plus, 2 popular ones that are secretly making your constipation worse. I'm saving the most surprising one for last, so stay with me all the way through. Here's something most people don't realize. After 60, your digestive system doesn't just slow down a little, it actually changes how it works. The muscles lining your intestines lose some of their strength. They don't squeeze and push the way they used to. Food and waste move more slowly, and when waste sits in the colon longer, your body keeps pulling water out of it. The result? Hard, dry, painful stools. That's not a disease. That's just what happens when your gut doesn't get the right fuel. And the right fuel isn't a laxative, it's fiber, the right kind in the right foods. Let's talk about the 3 canned foods that deliver exactly that. Let's start with something you probably walked past 100 times at the grocery store: canned chickpeas. I know, not exactly exciting, but if you're over 60 and dealing with constipation, this humble little can might be the most important thing in that entire aisle. Here's why. 1 cup of canned chickpeas gives you 10 to 12 grams of dietary fiber. That's a serious amount, but it's not just the quantity, it's what that fiber actually does inside your body that makes the difference. Chickpeas contain 2 types of fiber working together. The first type, insoluble fiber, adds bulk to your stool. Think of it like filling a trash bag. Without enough bulk, your intestines don't get the signal that it's time to move things along. That's one of the main reasons constipation happens. Your gut is waiting for a signal that never comes. Chickpeas give it that signal. The second type, soluble fiber, works completely differently. It absorbs water and forms a soft, gel like substance in your gut. That gel coats your stool and keeps it moist as it moves through. For anyone dealing with dry, cracked, painful stools, this is a game changer. It reduces straining. And for older adults, that matters a lot. Excessive straining can lead to hemorrhoids and other complications nobody wants to deal with. But wait, here's something that surprises most people. Chickpeas also act as food for your good gut bacteria. Scientists call this a prebiotic effect. Your gut bacteria ferment the fiber and produce compounds that actually stimulate your intestines to move. So, chickpeas don't just soften stool, they help break up a sluggish gut from the inside. A 2007 study published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that people who added chickpeas to their daily diet experienced more regular, easier bowel movements. That's not marketing, that's published research. Now, the reason I'm specifically recommending canned chickpeas is practical. They're already cooked. You open the can, rinse them, and they're ready. No soaking overnight, no long stovetop hours. For a quick breakfast, warm rinsed chickpeas with diced tomatoes and a handful of spinach, season with cumin and black pepper, and serve alongside 2 eggs and whole grain toast. Lunch, toss them into a salad with cucumber, cherry tomatoes, red onion, olive oil, and a squeeze of lemon. And for dinner, stir them into a simple vegetable soup and let it simmer. Easy, consistent, effective. One important note: fiber needs water to do its job. If you increase your chickpea intake without drinking enough water, you can actually make constipation worse. Aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water a day alongside this, and start with a small portion. First, jumping straight to a full cup can cause bloating and gas. Chickpeas are excellent for adding bulk and feeding your gut bacteria, but they don't pull water directly into the intestines the way the next food does, and that's a completely different mechanism, one you need working for you too. Quick question before we continue. Have you ever tried adding chickpeas or lentils to your daily meals? Drop a yes or not yet in the comments. I read every single one. Now let's talk about something that looks even less glamorous than chickpeas canned lentils. Don't let appearances fool you. When it comes to relieving constipation in adults over 60, lentils do something that most foods simply can't. Here's the core problem with constipation as you age. It's not just that things move slowly, it's that by the time stool reaches the end of your colon, too much water has been absorbed from it. That's what makes stool hard and compacted, and that's exactly what lentils are designed to prevent. 1 cup of canned lentils delivers 12 to 15 grams of dietary fiber, but the magic is in the type of fiber. Lentils are rich in soluble fiber and something called fermentable resistant starch. These travel through your small intestine mostly undigested and arrive in your large intestine intact. Once there, your gut bacteria go to work on them. The byproducts they produce actually stimulate the colon lining to move. Think of it as a gentle nudge that wakes up an intestine that's gone quiet. What makes lentils especially suitable for older adults is their texture. Unlike some high fiber foods that feel rough or heavy, lentils are soft, smooth, and easy to digest, especially in canned form where they're already tender. For anyone with sensitive digestion or reduced chewing ability, that matters. And here's something that makes a bigger difference than most people expect: consistency. Constipation isn't solved by eating something once, it's solved by creating a pattern, and canned lentils make that easy because they require almost zero effort. Open the can, rinse, and they're ready. That ease is exactly what helps you stick with it. And when you stick with it, your gut develops a rhythm. Stool softens, movements become more predictable. The straining reduces. Research supports this. Studies on fermentable fiber in elderly populations have shown that regular intake improves bowel frequency, softens stool, and this is important, reduces dependence on stimulant laxatives over time. Harsh laxatives can eventually make your gut less responsive if you rely on them too long. Lentils, on the other hand, support your gut without overriding it. For breakfast, warm canned lentils with diced onion, a pinch of turmeric, and low sodium broth. Serve with a boiled egg and whole grain bread. For lunch, mix rinsed lentils with chopped tomatoes, cucumber, parsley, and lemon over brown rice. For dinner, make a simple lentil and vegetable stew with carrots, sweet potato, spinach, and garlic. Let it simmer 15 minutes and let it work overnight while you sleep. Chickpeas and lentils are powerful, but neither of them contains the one natural compound that directly draws water into your intestines from the outside. The next food does, and it works while you sleep. This one surprises almost everyone: canned pears. Not a vegetable, not a legume, a fruit, and one that's sitting in most grocery stores for under $2 a can. But inside that can are two specific compounds that work together in a way that nothing else we've discussed does. The first is pectin, a type of soluble fiber. The second is sorbitol, a natural sugar alcohol. Here's what makes this combination so effective for adults over 60. Sorbitol is what's called an osmotic agent. It pulls water from surrounding tissue into your intestinal tract. This directly softens stool from the inside, not by adding bulk, but by drawing in moisture. And the pectin holds that water inside the stool as it moves through your colon. So, you're getting both hydration and structure at the same time. That combination is what makes stool soft, bulky enough to trigger movement, and easy to pass without straining. Most adults over 60 are also dealing with another layer of complexity: medications. Many common medications for blood pressure, pain, or other chronic conditions slow down digestion as a side effect. In that environment, the goal is to encourage a natural rhythm, not shock the system with a harsh laxative. Canned pears do exactly that. They bring moisture and fiber into the digestive tract gently and consistently. A 2019 study published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology found that daily pear consumption significantly improved both stool frequency and consistency in adults with functional constipation, with participants reporting less straining within just 3 weeks. And although most studies use fresh pears, the same active compounds, pectin and sorbitol, are preserved in the canned version. For breakfast, spoon canned pears over plain oatmeal with ground flaxseed and cinnamon. For lunch, serve them alongside a salad of mixed greens, walnuts, and feta with olive oil and lemon. And for a light dinner, warm the pears with a pinch of ginger and drizzle of honey. Serve alongside plain Greek yogurt. The probiotic bacteria in the yogurt works alongside the pears to support overnight bowel activity. One caution: don't overdo it. Too much sorbitol can cause loose stools or gas. A moderate, consistent portion daily is what creates lasting results. The body responds better to steady small amounts than to large doses all at once. Now, those are the three foods that help. But here's what most people miss entirely: there are two canned foods that are silently making your constipation worse, and millions of adults over 60 eat them every single day thinking they're being healthy. You think canned tuna is safe? Here's the truth: 90% of people who rely on it daily are feeding their constipation without realizing it. The first one is canned tuna. Canned tuna looks like a healthy choice. It's high in protein, low in fat, and convenient. But here's the problem: it contains zero dietary fiber, none. And fiber is what gives your stool the bulk it needs to move. Without it, your intestines don't get the signal to push waste along. Clinical nutritionists have consistently found that low fiber intake is one of the strongest dietary drivers of hard stool and slow bowel movement, especially in older adults whose gut is already less active. But tuna doesn't just fail to help, it actively replaces foods that would. When you have tuna for lunch, you're not having lentil soup or a chickpea salad. You're trading fiber rich foods for a fiber free one. And protein heavy meals without fiber actually slow gut transit further. Food takes longer to move. Water gets absorbed from stool for longer. The result is exactly what you're trying to avoid. Add in the fact that tuna is often eaten with crackers, white bread, or other low fiber sides, and the overall meal becomes nearly useless for bowel health. The second one is canned milk: evaporated milk, sweetened, condensed milk, the kind that goes into tea, coffee, or porridge. The problem here isn't that dairy is evil, it's what it displaces. When canned milk becomes a daily fixture, it quietly takes the place of foods that would otherwise bring fiber into your diet. And over time, that gap adds up. The longer stool sits in the colon, the more water gets pulled out of it, the harder and drier it becomes. Some people are also more sensitive to dairy than they realize, and studies have noted a connection between high dairy intake and constipation symptoms, particularly in people who don't eat enough fiber alongside it. The fix isn't to swear off tuna or milk forever, it's to make sure they're not your daily staples. They need to sit alongside chickpeas, lentils, pears, vegetables, whole grains, foods that bring fiber and hydration to your gut every single day. I want to tell you about someone I worked with. Margot was 63, a retired elementary school teacher. She came to me after almost 4 years of relying on over the counter laxatives just to have a bowel movement every few days. She was bloated, uncomfortable, and had stopped going to her book club meetings because she couldn't predict how her stomach would behave. Her daily diet: canned tuna sandwiches for lunch, porridge made with condensed milk, and the occasional piece of fruit. Convenient, easy, and almost completely fiber free. We made three changes. We removed canned tuna as her daily lunch staple. We replaced the condensed milk with a small amount of whole milk or a fiber rich topping, and we introduced canned chickpeas, lentils, and pears into her daily rotation consistently, not occasionally. Within 2 weeks, Margot had her first natural bowel movement without laxatives in nearly 4 years. By the 3 month mark, she was having regular, comfortable, pain free bowel movements every single day. She told me, "I honestly thought I just had a broken gut. I never imagined food could actually fix this. That didn't happen because of a supplement or a procedure. It happened because of consistency in the right foods. Here's how to put all of this together without overcomplicating it. Start with small portions of each food and build up over time. Always pair fiber rich foods with at least 6 to 8 glasses of water daily. Fiber without hydration can backfire. Combine these three canned foods rather than relying on just one. And be consistent. Your gut doesn't respond to a single meal, it responds to patterns built over days and weeks. If you have IBS, kidney issues, or are on medications that affect digestion, check with your doctor before making significant dietary changes. These are whole foods, not treatments, but your individual health situation matters. How much should you eat and how often? Aim for roughly half a cup to 1 full cup of chickpeas or lentils per day. You can split this between meals. For canned pears, 1 to 2 servings per day is the sweet spot. More than that can cause loose stools from the sorbitol. Daily is better than occasional. Your gut builds a rhythm from repetition, not from single doses. Give your body 2 to 3 weeks of consistency before judging the results. So here's where we land: three canned foods: chickpeas, lentils, and pears, each working through a different mechanism to help your gut do what it's supposed to do. Chickpeas add bulk and feed your gut bacteria. Lentils soften stool and reactivate a sluggish colon. And pears draw water directly into your intestines to keep stool soft and easy to pass. These aren't miracle cures. They're simple, science backed habits that your body over 60 genuinely needs. And the two foods to watch out for, canned tuna and milk, aren't the enemy. They just can't be your daily default when fiber is what your gut is missing. Now, which of these three canned foods are you adding to your grocery list this week? Chickpeas, lentils, or pears? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read everyone. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. It really helps the channel. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next videos. I love hearing your thoughts, so please subscribe and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.